Months ago, if you had told me I'd be covering the cyclones and hurricanes in the Windy City, I would have called you crazy for ever thinking I'd become a meteorologist. Jokes aside, truly no one, not even the media, could forecast what the Iowa State men have accomplished this year. What a game and what a wave of emotions, from disappointment to utter elation to absolute heartbreak. And for Iowa, it was a loss that followed a similar script to the ones we've seen all season long. All year long, Iowa State has taken pride in what it calls a five-star culture. The question, how would that culture fare against a five-star program like Clemson? I wouldn't mind wearing these instead of a suit jacket from time to time, but look good, play good, right? These are the threads the Iowa Heartlanders will be wearing for their final homestand of the season, which kicks off tonight. Currently under 40 degrees, but I'm sure fans and players alike don't mind because this is the first game of baseball being played here in Cedar Rapids in April in 3 years. When asked about his confidence in the defense after the game, Iowa State wide receiver Xavier Hutchinson likened the unit to a weighted blanket in the Iowa winter, always keeping this team warm. After 14 years and 7 state titles, Marv Cook stepped down as Iowa City Regina's head football coach this past offseason. But to call this a new era of Regal football would be a bit of a stretch. Both coordinators from those 7 state championships remain as Jason Dumont steps in as head coach and will still call the defense. Only one team in this tournament truly gets a storybook ending, but you won't find many stories better than Iowa State. In the wake of their season-ending defeat to Miami, the Cyclones didn't talk about missed shots, turnovers, or what could have been. Instead, about what happened. When it comes to state experience, you won't find 2 teams more different than Cedar Falls and Cedar Rapids Prairie. The Tigers have been a mainstay in the state tournament, making their 5th straight state appearance with 2 titles over that span. Meanwhile, the Peahawks are making their first appearance in Des Moines this century. We've already seen what's so special about March Madness, right? You got the St. Peter's Peacocks, the Cinderella in the Sweet 16. You've got also 2 #1 seeds going down just last night. But how about Iowa State, right? A team with new players and a new head coach putting together one of the best turnarounds in the history of the sport. If you went to an Iowa football game this fall, chances are you saw a few of these shirts in the crowd at Kinnick Stadium. The man behind these shirts, Iowa punter Tory Taylor, is a fan favorite. But instead of using his popularity for personal gain, he's using it for a life-saving purpose. Under new NCAA policy, college athletes nationwide have been able to benefit off their name, image, and likeness, or NIL. But for international players like Iowa punter Tory Taylor, student visa restrictions don't allow them to profit off NIL.
The whole NIL thing didn't really appeal to me, and I was never really wanting to make the money from it myself.
Rather than punt on the opportunity, the Australian native used his name, image, and likeness for a charitable cause.
I kind of thought, well, it's probably a good idea to try and maybe donate some money to charity. So there was a couple of emails and phone calls and messages back and forth, and then, yeah, it really kind of just took off from there.
That's how his partnership with Count the Kicks, an evidence-based stillbirth prevention campaign, was born.
Kicking is so vitally important during pregnancy, and it's also vitally important on the field. And so there is that combination and correlation between the two, and it just made perfect sense in this case.
With the help of the Des Moines-based Ray Gun Clothing Company, the popular Punting is Winning shirts were created, with 50% of proceeds going to Count the Kicks.
He just said, yeah, let's do it. And you're like, so you just donate everything to it? And he said, yeah, that's fine.
I'm just really grateful that of all the people that have gone out there and purchased the T-shirt, because they're having such a big impact on mothers and children's lives.
On Monday, Taylor got to see his impact on full display. 4-month-old Liam Shelby was saved thanks in part to the Count the Kicks campaign.
At around 31 weeks, we noticed that Liam wasn't kicking like normal. And so we went into the hospital, and we actually ended up getting delivered that same night at 31 weeks. It's a pretty selfless thing to do, to kind of put himself out there and raise awareness is really awesome.
In addition, over $11,000 was raised by Taylor's T-shirts, Reagan's highest NIL seller.
If you had asked me in the beginning of the season, of all the NIL people you work with, is the punter from Iowa going to be the top selling player? It would have been hard for me to be like, yep, definitely.
For Taylor, it serves as a reminder for all the support he's received from Hawkeye Nation.
Just to be able to see people, even here today, wearing the T-shirt, it really just means a lot.
And further proof that punting isn't just winning, it's potentially life-saving.
The impact that those T-shirts are having on people's lives, like it's literally saving children's lives, which is really special.
The Count the Kicks campaign encourages moms to get to know the normal movement pattern for their baby by having daily kick counting sessions during the 3rd trimester of pregnancy. For more information, you can go to countthekicks.org or download the free Count the Kicks app on your smartphone. We see Iowa football players perform on camera all the time, but how do they perform behind it? We enlisted the help of Iowa safety Kayvon Merriweather on the Hawkeyes trip to the Fun Spot America theme park to capture the sights, the sounds, and the kids in a segment we're dubbing Kayvon Cam.
Oh snap, it's recording. Wait, where you go? Oh, what's good?
Yes, sir.
Wait, where you go? Wait, why is it black and white?
Never get him a camera ever again.
How you doing?
Media day. Yo.
Yeah, T-Rob.
Yo.
Yo. Camera guy. Noah. Yeah. How y'all doing?
Hey, you know we coming, man. You already know how we come.
Okay, yeah, okay. 3 rings? Hey, he was trying to flex with the 3 rings, huh?
Say hi to Kayvon, King.
Say hi, man. How you doing? You good? You enjoying yourself?
What's your favorite ride, King?
The
Screamer.
Yeah, Screamer. Oh, man.
We're gonna go do it again. Okay.
Oh, man. That. Yeah, you got that, King. Here we have Alex Padilla. Are you enjoying yourself?
I'm enjoying myself.
On a carousel?
Yeah.
It fits you very well.
What's your horse name? Why is it
That's upstairs.
the horse is my name? Like, why?
That's sweet. We have the one and only Keegan Johnson.
Hey, man. We just having a good time out here at the park. It's for the kids, man.
We over here chilling, you know, getting on some roller coasters, competing in bumper cars and stuff like that. So, you having a good time, man? My boy having a good time. That's all that matters. You feel me?
Yeah, my shoulder. I feel like I played a football game or something.
Big thanks to Kayvon for the tweet and for not dropping my camera. Even if I wasn't fired, he might have taken my job the way he was interviewing and shooting his teammates. Luckily for me, Kayvon has a big time test coming up trying to stop a high-powered Kentucky offense. Here in Orlando, Jett Beachum, Iowa's News Now Sports. When it comes to wrestling, not many schools have a tradition of excellence like Don Bosco. And over the past 4 years, one dynamic duo has helped build upon the Don's dynasty while forging a future of their own. It's a typical cold, quiet winter day in Gilbertville. But at the center of this town of around 800, inside Don Bosco High School, it's anything but. Here, the state's smallest school with a wrestling program has produced big-time results and wrestlers.
You just see all the names up on the wall and it makes you want to be one of them.
The latest, a duo that shares the same last name and same birth date. Twins Cade and Carson Tenold played every sport they could growing up.
Whether it be fishing, hunting, wrestling, basketball, football.
And not just the sport, but each other.
We battle with each other every practice, every day. Now, not so much because at this point we end up fighting more than we do anything else.
Both dreamed of following in their father's footsteps and playing collegiate football, but it's wrestling that took hold.
There's just something about wrestling, getting in a room with a bunch of guys, and it's so fun.
The rest is history.
It's always been about how can I get better. And that's really what stands out to me about them the most is that it'd be really easy for them to go, I got this figured out. But they're the furthest thing from that.
After runner-up finishes in 2020, both Cade and Carson won 1A state titles in 2021, back-to-back.
1A Carson Tenold joins his brother,
leading the Dons to their third straight traditional and second straight dual titles.
It's a confidence booster that, hey, you're doing the right things, you're doing what you need to do, and it just affirmed us.
It also caught the eyes of college recruiters. In January, the Tenolds became Tar Heels, signing with North Carolina, a top 25 program coached by former childhood idol and Hawkeye Tony Ramos.
I don't even know how to describe it. I'm just smiling right now. You kind of get goosebumps when you're finally like, we made it.
But they'll be the first to tell you the work isn't done. The Tenolds still have the goal of becoming two-time state champs and then possibly national champs.
The biggest thing is if you still got a hunger to get better, which these guys do, and they've been in every sport, every football, track. So that when they finally just focus on wrestling, you could see them really taking off.
And whether it's in Gilbertville or Chapel Hill, Cade and Carson are just happy to succeed together.
It's 20 hours away, something like that, so it was a little scary to be honest, but I'll have my best friend there, so it'll be fun.
Before they make the trek to Chapel Hill, Cade and Carson look to cap off their careers in style. Both are ranked #1 in their respective weight classes on the top-ranked Dons dual squad. to look to capture more titles at next week's state wrestling tournament.